Aloha Pa, the Baha'i greeting to all the people of the planet, the Baha'is and the non-Baha'is all alike. Today is 18th of December, 11 o'clock, and as you can see, our flower died suddenly on us. So Elisa had to change this a new flower. Promised before I would be continuing to talk about the moods. The topic is very big, of course, and sometimes when we expand these topics and the psychological issues, such as tonight I'm going to be talking about anger and depression, the matter becomes more and more confusing to the people. It takes an academic understanding and academic use, so it is not very useful for ordinary people to see what do they do with it. Anger really is one of the most frustrating moods or emotion that just happens to us, to all of us. Even Baha'u'llah became angry many times. It is something that we have to deal with it every day, or it can cause problem for us. Sometimes the problem becomes irreparable. It's essentially, I call it a mood because it just, like a ditch, will fall into it. But anger is not always a mood that we're not expecting and something happens and we become angry, whether again it's food or instinctive desire, which would be a physical root, just like animals. But many times, most of the times in people, it has a spiritual feedback. It's metaphysical. People can cause us, to feel angry, or both. It could be physical and non-physical, the root cause of it. So it's something that happens to us as a mood, and as an emotion, it's a catalyst. On its own, it does not have any merit. That's what the catalysts are. In chemistry, catalyst causes a reaction to take place, but actually itself is not a part of the chemical reaction. Anger is one of those emotions that makes us to do things, but that itself, it has no merit. It's not an quality, it's not an attribute. It's an adverb that defines the actions that we take and we do. Essentially, it happens because of the lack of the power of an individual over the circumstances. Whatever the circumstances is, system gets overloaded. We just do not have the answer, or we do not have the power to bear anymore. And then we become angry. So it's not that so much that anger is bad. What we say it's bad is how you demonstrate it. What do you do with the anger? You keep quiet and calm and plan on something to do about an event that you don't like or you cannot solve, or you explode and do things emotional without background, without thinking, in that case the person has a problem. So the first way to fix this is that the person has to know he has a problem. Most of the people that I know of, when they become angry, and of course it causes a problem, a simple thing becomes complicated because of it. Because during anger we do things and we say things that is not reversible, and that is causes of the problem. So it definitely causes injury, it causes loss. It's just very harmful to the person. So first of all, we have to know that there is a problem. So if we have a shortage of dealing with a situation, with a person or with others, so then we know there's two ways. You can avoid it, or you can expand your character and get rid of it. Expansion of character, I spoke before about it. I said in the previous example, a bit of arsenic in a cup of tea will kill you. But if you're as bigger, you're as big as a lake as opposed to a cup, that will not make you angry. You've seen, most of us, the people of higher understanding, the people that have studied more, they have more social experience, they're in the social field, they do read books. Anybody who has a higher understanding, higher information, higher knowledge, usually they're able to control their anger better than other people. So, to recognize this and then go through the expansion, expand your character, or get away from the circumstance. Okay? The formula of this Baha'u'llah has very well. He says that his prescription is that, all right, there are people that you can't handle. They make you to hate them otherwise. They make you angry. Just to stay away from them, he says. The wicked people, he says, just stay away from the wicked people. Baha'u'llah recognizes that he's prescribing to us, that we are like that as sponges, a spongy character. We absorb, I call it osmosis pressure. We absorb from each other. So if we enter in a room that everybody is crying, it is impossible, the funniest man in the world, to laugh at that circumstances. He would gradually, the people will take him over and he starts to feel sad. He doesn't know the reason. It just gets into him. That's what the mood is. He doesn't have a reason, but it just feels it. Same way if they're all laughing and even you have a lot of problem. When you enter, since everybody's laughing, gradually you smile and you don't know why, but it goes into you. So this is what the association does to us, bad or good. Try to stay away from it. Essentially, if you cannot do it and keep staying at a place that we are angry and we have no power to do something about it, then we end up becoming depressed. So, looking at my note, I've said that anger is really an explosion and depression is an implosion, It's like you burst out or you burst in. If you burst in because you can't do anything about it, you don't have the power, whether it's economic power or it's material power, physical power, you just don't have to handle the situation, and you're stuck into it, then you become depressed because you have no solution to it. That's how depression comes. You implode inside yourself. So, but a person who is of higher understanding and whatnot, he goes for anger. Let's say, example, Nelson Mandela. He enters the court and the judge was a racist and went against a black boy, couldn't defend him. He became angry of the situation and he did something about it. He saved South Africa and sacrificed his life. In that case, anger becomes a catalyst. Baha'u'llah says, actually Abdul Baha says that if you're angry for the reason of cruelty, transgression, if that angers you and you want to do something about it, go ahead and do it. Anger becomes a very good catalyst. It's a calling. It calls you that the situation is unbearable for the person involved and you have to do something about it at any circumstance. In that case, anger is a good catalyst. But when we fall into it as a mood, we don't know why, it becomes really a problem. So, a little bit to talk about anger management. Today's society, I've seen so much of it. I had workers that are angry. they drink and they change their mood and they become angry because they can let themselves out. So the control, as soon as the control is lost, the anger shows up. You react to what you don't like and you do something about it and you become violent. So psychologists in the West, they do not see anger to have spiritual reasons. They do not see it as a metaphysical problem. They think it's all matter, and they want to do something about the chemical reaction in your body because of the anger. They think if they change those chemicals, then you don't have any power. They don't understand the man who is angry for the reason, and that's why his body is reacting. His face becomes red and whatnot. Now you want to give something to bring him down, then you make him depressed. That's what the drug does to an angry man. He loses his physical energy, then becomes depressed. As I said that. Depression is the other side of the anger. It's an implosion. If the person doesn't know what to do about it, he's afraid, he has no power, he becomes depressed. So chemical solution to the anger, it just brings the person loss of physical power, therefore he gets depressed. This is the problem. Most of the time, when people are angry, after the fact, they see the result was harmful, they feel sorry, they apologize, they're embarrassed of it, and they feel, shameful. However, I've seen something very notorious. I've seen it here in the West and